Alright, so here we are back in Modeler. Backtracked once to Lightwave layout, now we're backtracking again to Modeler. And this is really where we have to start, guys. And that's pretty apparent here by our robot model that I brought in from the FBX. When our character was in Unity, he was dragging along the ground in this same kind of format, right? Okay, look at that. The X would be the ground plane, Z would be the Y. And he was coming at us with his head this direction, okay? So what would we do? What we need to do is go ahead and change our model over to this same position, rotate him out, okay? What I initially thought was rotate him to this position, go to layout, add the bones, animate, do all that good stuff. Well, that doesn't really work out so well. The bones are going to want to constrict to this same rotation or one way or the other. It's going to be a mess, okay? So don't worry about doing that. You know, if there's somebody out there that knows how to do that properly, awesome. Go ahead and update the forums. Please do. Please prove me wrong in any way, shape, or form. It's only going to make us all better. Okay? So what we're going to do is this. We're going to go to our model, and we're going to do something there. Okay? Since we can't add bones and layout, we're going to do it here in Modeler. For anybody that doesn't know, Modeler has something called skelegons. Now, skelegons are like a preemptive bone. You can do it, set it up in Modeler, and then send it over to layout after that. It's a little bit easier to deal with, but you got to do some tweaking in Lightwave. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. We're going to go to Setup. We're going to go Create Skelegons, and then after that, you're able to rename the skelegons as well. Well, I've already done that, and I've already built a little bit of a rig here. Okay, you can see that. Now, what you need to do once you do this rig, once again, if you select that one, and you want to rename it, just go to Rename Skelegons over here on the left. Setup, rename skelegons. It's going to say bone 1, 2, or 3, but of course you can put it whatever you want it to be. You can name it however it should be. Okay, so that's all done. I've already done all that kind of stuff. Now what you're going to want to do is take this setup here, copy it, Control Copy, and go ahead and paste it in with the actual mesh, your actual geometry. Okay, if you don't do that, it's not going to read properly. It's going to read as two separate layers, two separate objects once you get into layout. I've tried it that way too to see if that would work. Still didn't work. Still wasn't having a good time with it. Okay, so now you've got your bones, or at least your skelegons, pasted into your mesh object. What you're going to want to do from here, you know how it is. I love animating on that X and Z rotation, but I'm going to have to get rid of that, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to want to rotate it down to the same position as Mr. Robot over there. Okay, now understand this. The FBX exporter in Unity, they're backtracking all the way to square one. Once again, everything's got to read from this starting point all the way down through. So make sure that your rig is set up, or at least you've tested your rig out a little bit, and that it's the way you want. It's going to animate properly. And then come back in, do this, go ahead and rotate them there, and that's going to make things the way they need to be. Okay. Now once again, see he's on this plane right here on the Z now. He's standing on that Z plane, but can't have that. Go to Modify, Center. Okay, it's going to center it. That's the way we want it right there. All right, perfect. I like to actually change the geometry a little bit here to where it's centered up on that plane, just so it looks a little bit cleaner. All right. Okay, so we're going to save that, and then we're going to move this on over to layout. Okay, let's go there now. Okay, so here we are back in layout, hopefully for the last time. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to select our guy here, enemy skelegons. You see him in there, but you don't see any skelegons. You don't see any kind of bones going on in here. Okay, well what we got to do is convert those skelegons into bones at this point. Go to Setup, go to Add, and then More. Drop this down. Convert skelegons into bones. Great, 11 bones created. Perfect. That's what we want. Hit OK. All these bones are still going to retain the naming of the hierarchy that I already put in there. You'll see right here. Look at that. Root, Arrow Connect, leg, torso, all this stuff. They're all there. Okay? I'm going to close this on down. Now, obviously, you can't animate it that way because he's laying flat on his back. I like to be on the X plane like we talked about before. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and add a null object. Items, go to null, add null, leave the name there. That's fine. So he's now in scene. Now what you're going to want to do is take enemy with the skelegons that are built into it, or at least the bones, parent it to that null. Okay? Now, we can go ahead and we can rotate that null to where it's got the correct positioning in the scene, animate, and go from there. Okay, 90, 0, -90. Alright, you're also going to want to raise him up if you're like me. Once again, you love being on that X plane. Go ahead and bring him up to where he needs to be. set a keyframe there so you know he's not going to go anywhere. Okay, now from there, center him in your viewport. There we go. And animate all you need to with all these different pieces and parts. When you're done animating, this is the last thing you need to do before you send it to Unity3D. It's not a huge deal, but it's big enough a deal that I think it's warrants bringing up. Okay, you're going to want to take this enemy character off that null. Once you get to Unity, the ellipsoid, okay, that green kind of cylinder looking thing that goes around him, that character controller is what it is really, is going to center up again kind of a little bit off down at the bottom again. So what I'd rather do is just have the whole thing totally clean, just make things speed along, make things cleaner as much as you can. So go to null, items, go to delete, and clear selected. Clear null from screen, yes. Clear descendants, no, because that enemy, our character, he's a descendant of that null at this point, so you do not want to do that. So hit no. It's going to delete it out, and you're going to see that he's going to immediately snap to that point, okay, to his original resting position. That's what we want. All right, for the last time, guys, we're going to go back to Unity, and we're going to see how this thing works properly. Cool. All right, we're back here in Unity. You're going to go ahead and bring in our enemy 90xy. This is what I exported. That's why I named it, because it's rotated on the 90x and y. Drop him into scene. We're all excited, and uh-oh, what's going on here? That's not right. So right about now, I'm having a mini heart attack, at least when I did this the first time. Okay? Why? After all this work, everything seemed like it was going to be right. It actually is right, after all. Let's remember that FBX that's importing it is putting a rotation value of 270 here and 270 here on the X and Y. So we want to get rid of those. And there. Look at that. X, Y, and Z are all exactly as they should be. Perfect. That's what we wanted the whole time. Had to go through all that. So remember, you've got to go all the way back to Modeler and take care of it there, start it there, then into layout, and then on in. Okay? Components, we're going to go ahead and do this just to show you that yes, it works. Character controller, add that, and look at that. Centers right up on my guy. Perfect, at a 0 point. Okay, because I centered him in Lightwave Modeler. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and add is a couple of scripts here. Let's go and throw that AI in there. Let's go and throw the AI animation in there. He's got all his animations, so he's all good to go. Might as well put that character damage just in case it's calling for something there. These scripts, of course, are going to talk to each other as well. They're going to be calling each other. So if one of those scripts is missing, say if I left out AI animation, it's going to throw up a bunch of warnings. Let's take a look at my enemy 90xy here. One thing I want to note, go to the root. You're going to see he's got two materials here. Two materials. Why? One is the enemy UV, one is bone. If you recall, we had skelegons in there, and it actually added a material for that skelegon, okay, back in Modeler. So we're going to delete that out. Just hit delete, get rid of it. There you go. Goes down to that. Make that one, and you're good to go, okay? Otherwise, it would throw up a bunch of warnings at you that you don't like, okay? And, of course, it seems a little bit screwballed there, but if you go down to his main root there. Okay, so we've got the components. Let's try this out. Let's hit play and watch this guy work. Alright, look at that. Perfect. Animation is terrible. We hate it, but who cares? And look at that. He's following us. The AI is working too. He's following us on the Z-plane as he should. He's following us. He's facing us. That big red arrow is trying to shoot at us. We are happy now, aren't we? After about a week of working with this thing and doing this a million times, I tell you what, I was happy when this worked out. So, let's go ahead and get out of here. We're all happy that that's working now. We're basically done with this, but I want to make one more note before I go. Okay? Don't forget, please share your knowledge. Update the Unity forums. If you can make this tutorial better, if you have anything to add, subtract, if it's terrible, if you hate it, whatever, please go and tell us on the Unity website, on the forums there. If you know of that new Lightwave 3D 9.6 FBX exporter that's built into it now, please give us some information on that. Okay? You guys enjoy your time with Unity3D. I know I am, and hopefully you'll see some games from me soon. All right, take care.